Chapter 1. The Letter That Shouldn't Exist. Eleanor Braddock was the last living archivist of Carrington, a forgotten town tucked away in the mountains of Maine. She spent her days cataloging dusty documents and her nights combing through journals and maps no one had touched in a century. One rainy October afternoon, she found a letter that didn't belong. It was wedged between two brittle census books from 1854. The envelope was blank, no stamp, no name, no date. But the moment Eleanor touched it, her fingers trembled. Inside, the letter was written in an ink that shimmered faintly under the stormy light. The handwriting was spidery and careful. "To whomever reads this, you will forget me, you must. But if you do remember, go to the grave that doesn't belong. It rewrites everything it touches." The bottom was signed, C. The name burned in Eleanor's mind for a moment. Claire, Celeste, Catherine. But just as quickly, it vanished, like a dream she couldn't quite recall. Chapter 2. The Grave on No Map. The grave wasn't hard to find. That was the strange part. A narrow path behind the Carrington church twisted into the woods. No one had walked it in years. At the end was a clearing, and in the center stood a single gravestone, gray, unmarked, old, yet somehow untouched by time. Eleanor stood in front of it, her umbrella forgotten beside her. The stone was perfectly smooth except for one thing: a spiral carved deep into the center, the lines etched with something darker than stone. It pulsed faintly in the fog. She reached out to touch it and the world stuttered. She blinked. The sky was brighter, ... and her name. She could not remember her last name. Chapter 3. The Shifting Past. Back in the archives, the town records were wrong. She flipped through birth registries, school documents, death notices. Every page had changed. People she knew, teachers, neighbors, even her own mother, were missing from the records. In their place were strangers, with no photos, no signatures, just names and dates that felt almost familiar. She searched for her own file. It wasn't there, but in its place was a name: Eleanor B. Carter. Braddock was gone. She hadn't been Braddock for over a century, according to the records. Had she ever been? The spiral throbbed behind her eyes. Chapter 4. A Town That Forgot Itself. The more Eleanor tried to remember, the more the town forgot. Buildings disappeared overnight. Old houses stood where new ones had been. A man she had coffee with every Wednesday morning walked past her on Main Street, staring through her like she didn't exist. She ran home, pulled out every photo album, every journal, every newspaper clipping. One by one, the pages turned blank. Her handwriting faded, faces blurred. Even her reflection in the mirror flickered, as if unsure whether to stay or go. Chapter 5. The Archivist's Code. Desperate, Eleanor returned to the archives and found an ancient, leather-bound book titled Carrington, A History That Cannot Be Told. Inside were sketches of the spiral, warnings in Latin, names crossed out violently, a note written in different ink, frantic. Each time the spiral is seen, history is rewritten. First memory, then name, then existence. The only way to stop it is to trap it again. But the grave chooses who may do so. At the very bottom, a final line was scratched in almost invisible ink. She remembered too much. Chapter 6. The Spiral Claims Another. Eleanor went back to the grave at dawn. The fog was thicker now, almost solid. The spiral stone glowed faintly in the early light. Around it, new graves had appeared. Fresh earth, no names. She felt herself fading. Her limbs were heavy, her thoughts scattered. She tried to speak, but her voice was gone. She dug her nails into the cold stone and whispered, "I remember." The spiral burned white hot and then all went black. Chapter 7. Carrington, today. Carrington is a small, peaceful town. Tourists pass through, charmed by the old church and the cozy bakery on Main. No one remembers Eleanor Braddock. The archive is closed permanently. Locals say the woman who worked there moved away years ago. But sometimes, hikers in the woods stumble upon a strange, silent clearing where spiral-marked stones stand in perfect circles. One stone has no name, only the faint outline of an umbrella beside it, and nearby, etched faintly into a tree. If you remember, it already knows your name.